All right, so we had cis both on the same side, and trans were the attached parts on opposite sides. So take a look at your little sheet there, number 4. Look at A. We're going to name this guy. So let's start thinking about our rules for naming. What was one of the first things we said when we name anything? How do we start its name?
The bond.
With what?
The bond.
The bond.
The last chain.
The end, the last thing.
Not the last, but
Transport.
another L.
The length.
Longest.
The longest. The longest, okay? So in this example, it doesn't really make sense because we're looking at chlorine. These are not carbons. But let me change these to carbons, okay? Let's change these to carbons. And how are we going to name this? So if this is a carbon here and this is a carbon here, what's our longest chain?
I don't know.
How long is it?
It's a really long chain though.
Four.
I mean, that's how
It's 4. Okay, so how do we name something that has 4 in it?
it says a butane.
I'm going to write it up here. It's going to end in what? Bu.
Beauty.
E-N-E.
Beauty.
Oh, it
Beauty.
Butane with an A
E
and
and E. Why is it an E?
Double bond.
Double bond. You guys are awesome. Yeah, butene. But there's a little catch here. What is the name of this guy? No, I forgot to put the. We're going to put a C here and a C here. What would his name be?
Beauty.
Would it be butene?
Yeah, because
Okay. Now, if this one's butene and this one's butene, are they the same thing?
yeah. Wait, no.
No.
One is
So,
cis,
one
one
is-
is trans.
So how do we name this thing? This will be what?
Cis beauty.
Cis butene, and this one will be what?
Trans beauty.
Trans butene. All right. So the other little catch here is in the case of butene, there is no other option. And if you see number 4B, there is another option. Let me show you what I mean. Where is the double bond? Remember whenever we had a thing like this, how did we have to name this methyl on the propane here? We call it what? 2-methyl propane. And why do we call it 2?
Because it's very long.
It's on the second carbon. So how could I name these here?
2. No.
Let me show you one other thing. We could have something like this, couldn't we? I mean, we could have H's here. H, H, H. Those would all be hydrogen. This is also what? Butene, isn't it? So we got 3 butenes. How can I tell the difference between each one? Well, where is the double bond on this one?
In the middle.
2, 3.
We could say 2, 3. And over here we could say
1, 2.
1, 2. But guess what? Scientists are lazy. And if you say 2, 3, what do you already know? Do you know the 3? If it's on 2, what must the other one number have to be? 3. So we say, you know, we're lazy. We're going to drop the 3. And we're just going to say what? 2.
It's a really
So this guy is, oh wait a minute, now I'm trying to remember which order it goes in. Yeah, the number goes in between. So I'm gonna say, cis, what? 2-butene. All right, and this one would be what?
Trans 2.
Trans 2-butene. All right, now what about this one?
2 butene? Or 1 butene?
Exactly. We would say 1-butene. Now, why don't we need a cis or trans here?
Because the double bond is at the end.
It's at the end. There is no cis or trans here, is there? So we don't have a cis, but we do have the 1 and we have the butene. So you see how that is named? All right. So I want you to name 4B in your homework, okay? 4B on that sheet. Sadia, if you could pause the video for a second. All right. Troy pointed out that I made a mistake. This is not trans, is it? This is what? This is cis. So I need to switch these. This is
So
trans,
that's it. That's what you got.
trans,
Oh, we got
and cis. All right, so that was my mistake. All right, now we're gonna go to page 710. All right, our word for this is
Do you
cyclo.
want us to do this 4C?
Cyclo.
4C. I don't know.
On your own. Yeah, you guys can do it.
What is cyclo?
But right now, I want to do the notes. Okay, cyclo.
What is cyclo mean?
We're going to talk about cyclo. Pause it for me. Flow. Carbons are bonded in a
What page?
circle. Now I say circle, it's not really necessarily a circle, but it's a ring. You can call it a ring. It's not really a ring because it's not a perfect circle. It's not round in that sense, but rather that they all connect to each other, one around and around. So it doesn't end up looking necessarily like a ring or a circle, but it's close to that. All right, so take a look on your paper and go to number 5A. 5A.
Bro,
Tell me about what you know about how we can name that.
I don't know anything.
5A. How do we name that? Yes, Mia. Yeah. That's not too hard, is it?
Wait, what she said?
Cyclobutane for number 5A. So why is it called cyclo?
Does this all even exist?
Carbon.
Because the carbons all connect to each other in a circle. And why is it called butane? Because there's 4.
So then
That's
the next
pretty
one
easy.
is cyclo.
You're on your own for the next one, all right? All right, next vocab word.
What is 5?
All right, pause the video.
Wait, is it cyclo? Is it cyclo pentane?
Benzene.
Cyclohydrocarbons with carbon atoms that are joined with alternating single and double bonds.
Okay, very good. So it is a what? Cyclo. So that means the carbons are all connected in a circle. And this one's a very special one. It is used in so many different chemicals. It's very special. It is unique in that it whoops.
Wait, does that mean if it's like ene or yne, that means it alternates?
Not alternates. But what does ene always mean?
Double bond.
Double bonds. Does this have double bonds?
Yeah.
Yes. It has double bonds.
Usually when you ask this type of questions, it's usually the answer is usually no. I don't know.
All right, so there is benzene drawn with all the carbons in a ring. Now, how is that different than the ones that you had in the homework I just had you look at? That one, like Mia said, that was cyclo what? Butane. Ane meaning what? All single bonds. This one is a cyclo. In fact, we could call it cyclohex. What? This would be cyclohexene. That's the, but it has a nickname. And this time I say you want to learn the nickname. Why? Because it is so well known and so famous. Its nickname is benzene. It could be called cyclohexene. We'd have to call it 1,3,5 cyclohexene. But it's so well known, and we just give it this nickname and we're faster at it because it can have so many different ways, things attached to it. It is also in lots of chemicals. It's not good for you. It is known to cause cancer. And so we don't want to be breathing this in.
Oh, I already did that. Breathe in.
Now, because in organic chemistry you have to draw this so often, we get a little lazy, and there's another way to draw it. So what is represented by each of these corners?
C's.
Carbons. And these lines representing the bonds. And what do you think this represents?
Circle.
If I didn't draw the circle, what's missing that's in this picture that's not here?
Hydrogen.
Like
double
the
bond.
Double bonds, yeah.
So this is a way to draw that there is double bonds. It's actually a little fancier than that. We won't worry about it for now. But basically that these double bonds are actually shared throughout the ring. These electrons are free to roam. So this actually makes it so it'll conduct electricity. Electrons can move.
It's a
Whereas a lot of-
fancier version.
Yeah, so isn't it faster to draw this than to draw that? And so this is another way to draw it. And you can see in your book, naphthalene, there is 2 benzene rings bonded together. You might know this as mothballs. You ever heard of mothballs?
Moth?
Yeah, the
Oh,
little
wait.
chunks of white stuff that are in balls, and you can put it in your cabinets or whatever to try to keep bugs from being in there. I don't recommend it because what did I tell you about benzene? It's bad for you. And naphthalene is bad for the moths. That means it's also probably bad for you. So you don't want it in your house. So I don't recommend it. All right. Next word is from section 2. And that is substituted all right, you can pause it. All right, so substituted hydrocarbon. What did you guys find out?
I don't know.
Jacob, what's a substituted hydrocarbon?
Has one or more of its hydrogen atoms replaced by atoms with groups of atoms of other elements.
Yeah. So this carbon, if it had it was a hydrocarbon, it would have 4 hydrogens around it, right? That would be a hydrocarbon. But just like in sports, when someone's been playing on the field and then you take them out and put somebody else in, what do we call that?
Substitute.
Substitute. So we're
That's
gonna
something great one messed
take
up.
somebody off the field and we're gonna put somebody else in his place.
They got a red card.
So in this case, we're gonna put chlorine. All right, I'm just giving you an example here. So this would be a what? Substituted hydrocarbon. So notice we're still calling it a hydrocarbon, but is it really a hydrocarbon?
No.
No, because we put something else in there besides a carbon or a hydrogen. So substituted hydrocarbon. How would we name this guy, by the way?
You don't.
Oh,
Chlor.
Let's start. Where do we always start?
Hydrate.
It's trans.
No, it's not
Hydrate.
trans.
Hydrate.
It's cis.
Let's say that this had 4 carbons. 4 hydrogens on it. What would we call it?
Oh, it's
Hydrate.
butane.
No.
Hydrogen.
What?
Yeah, hydrate.
See,
What was it called?
Who's your teacher?
Well, he's not here right now, so
Let
he's
me pull up the
absent.
book.
What is
He's
it called?
currently absent.
Let me pull
Oh,
up the
it's
book.
method.
Methane. This would be methane. So whenever we name these things, we always start with that base name. So what is it called? Methane.
CL method.
But we can't call it methane really because it's not methane. So we've got it's changed. So it's substituted. What got substituted?
It's chlorine methane.
C.
Chloric.
So we're gonna
methane.
call this
Okay.
CHLR
Chloric.
chloromethane. Now what if we substituted 2 of these?
2 chloromethane.
Dichloro.
Okay.
Dichloro.
Extra credit.
Hey,
Something. She's
dichloro. All right, watch this. What if we called? What if we did this? This is crazy. Watch this.
Try.
What if we did like that?
Dichloro.
Di
Fluoro.
chloro di what?
Fluoro.
Fluoro.
Mr. Singer,
Methane.
can you stop messing it up now, please?
All right.
Dichloro.
Dichloro-difluoromethane.
Okay.
Woo!
Okay,
That's
we're
a big name for. Oh yeah. That's a big name for a very little molecule. It's a very important molecule actually. We use this a lot. Maybe you heard of CFCs. Maybe not.
What's that?
Chlorofluoromethane, CFCs. Maybe, how many have heard of Freon? Freon? How many have heard of refrigerators?
Not me. I mean,
Is it the gas?
Some of you haven't heard of refrigerators. Okay, let me introduce you what a refrigerator. So the gas that they have inside refrigerators to keep it cool in the machine, that's what it is. All right? That's what it is that's in your car's air conditioner and things like that. CFCs. It used to be that's what we put in hairspray cans.
Is that good?
All those kinds of things. But it turns out this damages the ozone, and so we don't want to use it much anymore.
Oh, we
So
can
when you go to
reuse-
throw away a refrigerator, you don't just throw it in the dump.
Oh,
You take it to a place where they're going to take this and catch this, so it doesn't go out into the atmosphere because it destroys the ozone. But crazy way to name it, but you guys already know how to do that. Now, these things that are attached to here, what do we call these things? The whole thing is called a what?
Substitute hydrogen.
And what do we call the thing that is substituted?
Functional group.
That's the functional group. All right. So we can put whatever we want on there. So let's change this to. Let's put an OH here. OH. What is that?
Hydronium?
For
No.
OH.
Hydrocide.
So look at your book, page 713. All right.
Ethanol.
Alcohol.
Oh.
How do we know something is an alcohol? What does it say there in the book?
if it smells like you would get high, then
When what?
OH.
When an OH group, now it's easy to get confused because this OH is not what we would call before. You might remember we had NaOH, okay? We called that hydroxide. When it's combined, when an OH is attached to a carbon, it's not a hydroxide anymore. It's called a what? Alcohol, all right? Very different. Sodium hydroxide is gonna burn you, all right? This one, it's not gonna burn you now. This is poisonous, by the way. It is poisonous, but it's not gonna burn you. All alcohol is poisonous. It's just some are more poisonous than others.
Then why do people
Yes.
drink poison then?
Was it,
Dumb.
was it when it connects to a hydrogen, a carbon?
Yeah.
A carbon.
Yep.
Wait, question,
Yeah.
Mr. Singer. So are you saying that my mom's technically getting poisoned?
Anybody drinking alcohol is poisoning themselves. Guaranteed. It's just that ethanol, which we'll talk about in a second, ethanol is a little less poisonous than some of the others. So
It's in
Let's-
corn.
let's do this one. You guys help me name this one.
We don't have that time.
You're right. So the rest of those are all H's. How would I name this guy?
Alcohol. Wait, no.
How many carbons are there?
Ethanol.
2.
2. So this is going to be F,
Ethanol.
and we're going to say ane because what?
Because there's no other one.
There's no double bond, but this is, instead of putting the name in front of it, with alcohol, we put it on the end. We take off the E, and we do it what?
Ethanol.
Ethanol.
O-L, and that is ethanol.
Why?
And some people drink this. It is poisonous. Your liver is getting destroyed by it.
It says it's in corn.
No, it is not in corn. You can use corn to make it. Go ahead and pause the video. All right.